Ladies and gentlemen, we are back another day here in Las Vegas for Raiders training camp. I believe this is day 2 for them, and we're going to be kept up to date with everything. Now, one thing that I've noticed that is different with a lot of other teams is the Raiders have their quarterbacks wearing their upper pads, their shells throughout all of warm-ups and throughout practice, right? They want to get these guys used to throwing with those pads on. Obviously, they're the only ones with these on right now. I don't think anyone else during these practices have pads or uppers on, shells on during these, so very interesting to note. But we're going to break down everything you need to know from today's practice, from the news, the notes, the highlights, the observations, everything you could think of. We've got you guys covered, right? Before we dive into the video, there are a list of names on your screen that you guys need to go follow on Twitter or X, because without them, these videos are just not possible to make. So go give them a follow if you haven't already done so yet. It helps them out so much, helps me out so much, and again, it kind of feels like you're at practice with the amount of content they post from every single practice, right? So go check them out if you haven't already done so. And with that being said, let's kind of break down today's day 2 of training camp practices for Pete Carroll and the Raiders. One guy you guys need to follow, Jesse Merrick, man. He does such a good job. Go subscribe to him. Go follow his Twitter. Does a great job, man. Go check him out if you haven't already done so. But one area of this football team that I'm really excited about is the defense under Patrick Graham and Pete Carroll. They always do a great job making sure these guys are in the right position, and they've added a ton of talent to this team. I mean, we can actually back out here for just a second and take a look at this defense. Right now, there's, Jamal Adams is back here, right? They just added him to their depth chart. You also look at JT Woods. I mean, look at the linebacker depth here just for a second, right? Let's talk about Jermaine Pratt. Yesterday in practice, they were running a lot of 3 linebacker sets, especially when teams are coming out here running 12, 13 personnel. You're going to want Jermaine Pratt. You're going to want Landon Roberts and Devin White on the football field, right? Those are 3 linebackers that have experience, a ton of it, right? But you also have some young guys who are going to learn from them, and Tommy Eichenberg, Cody Lindeberg, right? You have Amari Gaynor, right? But from there, you also have Jalen Smith. You have 4 guys in this linebacker room with a ton of NFL experience, which I am super excited about. And in this clip from Jesse Merrick, you can kind of see, right, Malcolm Kuntz and Devin White and all these guys going through some drills. And then we can all see Pete Carroll and Maxx Crosby getting at it. We're hearing that this has been one of the most competitive and most intense training camps that the Raiders have had in a very long time. I mean, they are taking this very seriously. They want to win games. They are done losing games, and I think this season should be the year we finally start to see some progress within a football team, man. I mean, gotta be at least a little bit excited. I mean, let me know, from a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you guys for the start of this season? So according to Jesse Merrick, he actually said that yesterday they planned on doing a lot of short game, right? Getting the ball low quick, right? Taking advantage. Oh, apologize if you guys can hear that. Taking advantage of when defenses are in soft zone coverages, right? You could tell from here as well. Only quarterbacks are wearing shells. But yeah, yesterday they were taking advantage of soft zones. They wanted to get the ball out quick. Point of emphasis, it was, hey, listen, we got to get that ball out. They're coming every single time, okay? So we got to get that ball out. We cannot be holding on to the ball. We can't be taking too many sacks. Last year, Geno did take a lot of sacks under that Seattle Seahawks offense. So they were, again, right away, let's not take sacks, get the ball out. So they focused on that yesterday. Today we're hearing, according to Jesse Merrick, they might be opening up a little bit and throwing some deep balls. We also saw that Dont'e Thornton was taking a majority of the first team reps with the offense alongside Jacoby Myers, and in some cases Jack Bech or Trey Tucker was in there as well. So they've got a lot of weapons offensively that they do like, and they're not afraid to play these young guys. Now, unfortunately, they aren't really allowed to show too much of 7-on-7s and 11-on-11s for this early portion of practice. Once we get all pads on, it might get a little bit different. We might be able to see a little bit more. So in this video, I do apologize, but we don't really have that to talk about. We can't break down those clips. Some teams do, some teams don't. It's actually pretty weird. Like, for example, the Dallas Cowboys, they're able to record everything, every snap of 11-on-11s, but some teams are like, listen, we don't want other teams being able to study this film, so we're just not going to allow it. And it's fair, right? But essentially, The one thing that's really changed about this team throughout all of practices, the intensity, competitiveness, but the Pete Carroll energy around this football team, dude, it is... everybody loves it. I feel like you can tell Maxx, Crosby, Geno Smith, Raheem, everybody is loving the transition. I mean, not saying anything bad about last year, but it just seems like the intensity, the aura around practice this year just feels different, which is a good sign. Alright, so this is a very interesting tweet right here. Ryan McFadden, go follow him on Twitter, but he tweets out, the Raiders safety Jamal Adams is working with the linebackers during individual period. Now, this is actually really big news. When I originally posted my first video breaking down the film and what he would add to this team, I actually did say that he was probably going to play a lot of box safety, but it actually makes sense that they're going to use him as a linebacker, because when you think about Jamal Adams and you think about what he can add to this football team, imagine, right? You still have Jeremy Chin and you have IPM in the back, right, as your two deep, right? But if you put Jamal Adams in the middle, really good tackler, okay? Great instincts and is fearless. Great tackler in space. But now you kind of put him into, let's say, as a sub linebacker, a dime linebacker, where he can drop back into a mid read, or he can drop back into a hook curl, or even into the flats, right? Or he can man up with tight ends and running backs. Jamal Adams, yes, might not be the healthiest guy in the world, but this is a guy that adds a ton of versatility and flexibility to this team, and I love it, man. And putting him in the linebackers, I think he can play both, is going to be huge. And real quickly, make sure you guys hit that like button if you haven't already done so. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. It is free. It doesn't cost anything to join the family, and we will be covering the Raiders through all of not only training camp, but preseason, regular season, breaking down all 22 coaches' film for you guys. Join the family. Go follow Ryan McFadden. Hit the like up, man. He is amazing, and all these other guys so good at what they do. So let's dive back in. Another tweet here from Jesse Merrick. Again, they're not allowed to show too much film from these portions of practice, which is okay. We can kind of take what they're saying and kind of break it down. So what I got yesterday, and I'll read this one, linebacker Jermaine Pratt is a really quick first step, no wasted motion. When I look at this Las Vegas Raider defense, right, and from what we heard yesterday as well, Jermaine Pratt was lining up off the edge at times. Now, very interesting. Again, we talk about that quick first step, and the most important thing in football is generating pressure on a quarterback. When we look at the Raiders last season, they ranked 22nd in the NFL when it came to getting QB sack percentage, right? So Jermaine Pratt, yes, he's not an edge rusher by any means necessary, but at the same time, if you have Malcolm Kuntz and Maxx Crosby and Adam Butler, and let's just say Tonka Hemingway or Leki Fotu, or even Tyrie Wilson, right, as your defensive line plus a Jermaine Pratt off the edge, you can't block everybody. You have 5 offensive linemen. You send 5. Maxx Crosby already is going to need a double team. We love one-on-one matchups with Malcolm Kuntz, but then you add another guy in Jermaine Pratt coming off the edge who's got really good foot speed and great quickness. I think he could be a real big threat for getting sacks this year for this Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't know why I just said that. The Las Vegas Raider defense. So I am pretty pumped up about this team right now. I think they got a lot of different players at different spots. And another thing that Jesse Merrick is coming out and saying from practice is the cornerback battle is off and running. Now, this is something we expect when you look at this DB room. Darien Porter, Eric Stokes, Darnay Holmes. The majority of these guys have never worked under Pete Carroll in a Patrick Graham defense. Right, Jacorian Bennett, Decameron Anderson have been here last year, but you know, Spytek and Pete Carroll, they went out there and they got their guys that they like, right? Darien Porter, lengthy, reminds me a little bit of Richard Sherman, not totally, but in some ways, height, length, speed. Never mind. Darien Porter is quick, lightning speed. Jeremy Chin, I mean, he's going to be really good. But Eric Stokes, gamer, he's tough, hard-nosed player. Like him a lot. But you also see Caillou, Blue Kelly. You see Sam Webb, Decameron, Jacorian Bennett. There's a bunch of guys. JT Woods, all rotating in with the first team. So they're really going to pick and choose the best guys for the position. All right, this is something Levi Edwards, another guy, go follow him. something we talked about, Tyrie Wilson. I said yesterday that I thought they would utilize him a little bit on the inside with Christian Wilkins missing time. I think he's got that size to really be a nice pass rusher from the interior because of that speed. Now, today happened, right? Team period, Tyrie Wilson just got a would-be sack, which means, again, they're not allowed to tackle or sack the quarterback. They're just going, touching him, and, hey, backing off, right? That's their quarterback. So he got one of those today. Maxx Crosby, who celebrated with Wilson, said yesterday the team plans on using him as an edge rusher and on the interior of this defensive line. Again, we see Christian Wilkins in red. He's going to miss some time. You're probably not ready to throw a Tonka Hemingway or a JJ into that role. So what they're most likely going to do is rotate Tyrie Wilson into the interior. And when Malcolm Koonce gets off the field, you can now rotate him there and then have a Zach Carter or a Tonka JJ, one of these guys here towards the end of the roster, play interior. But again, that flexibility is huge. Now, there's still a lot to talk about, but I am going to end the video here, guys. Make sure you go follow all of these reporters, because I guarantee you, if you go on Levi Edwards or Jesse Merrick or your boy Q, any of those guys, you're going to be able to see a lot more from today's practice. So go follow them right now. He also said, I've counted 5 quarterback pressures alone for just Maxx Crosby in a handful of reps so far. Again, Maxx Crosby's a different breed, so looks like he's going to come different this year, and it might be insane. Pads are not on today, by the way. But hit the like button, subscribe, join the family, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's part 3. Peace.